me this morning for 10 minutes of calm, and I think we worked out our little technological glitch there or something on the back end with Vimeo. Worked itself out. So great to have you joining me today. And today what we're looking at is this question, for rough sailing, what should we pack? And we touched on that a little bit yesterday and looked at, that the concept, and it's a beautiful one, that we really need to pack two things. Like, we know we're headed into storms. We're talking about knowing the arc here. We know we're headed into storms, but we need stuff that's going to get us through. And what are the things that can get us through? Well, it's interesting from a Christian New Church perspective. There's two things that are held out there that I think are beautiful. One is what we know. That idea of knowledge that God gives us, that could be revelation. There's forms of revelation. It could be different other things that we pull together. But that idea of that intellectual part is really significant. And as I said yesterday, and I think it's a really significant quote, is it's hard to not be anxious. It's hard to not be anxious if everything is surrounded by a question mark. And I was thinking I would add the word a cynical question mark, right? If everything is about constant questioning, all it's going to do is create anxiety. We have to have those things we navigate by, and God seeks to give us those things. And the other part is joy. Now, that's what I wanted to read to you here today. This beautiful little line, and again, it's a repeat from yesterday, but it is incredibly beautiful. Joyful feelings serve the needs of our will or our heart, while truth from the Lord's word, along with support and confirmation from other sources, serve our intellectual needs, one serving our heart, one serving our head. Till we receive this, we cannot be regenerated. Those supplies are our food. I love that line. Like, that's the food. So today I want to look at the second part of that. Well, it's really flipping them around in the order he had them. It's looking at the idea of joy, and that we need to take joy along with us. And that is not always easy, because most of us, when we see storms coming, there's at least for me, and I imagine for most of you watching, fear is the primary emotion we bring along. And here God's saying, yeah, get it. I think what God would say is, yeah, get that. And remember to bring along some joy. And I feel like it's not sort of a Pollyannish optimism. It's not sort of pathological optimism. It's bringing along little bits and pieces of joy that can help us. And the idea, folks, like, we can't make the journey without those little pieces of joy. And I imagine that, like, in those times of life where it was really deep despair and there was no joy to be found, it's pretty dire, and it's pretty serious to take a look at those times and to try to move forward with that. It's interesting because Dorothy Day referred to this, and listen to this line. This is a beautiful line. She referred to it as the duty of delight, which is incredibly good statement. So she was working with a lot of folks who were really struggling with homelessness, etc. She was the founder of the Catholic Worker. And she referred to this duty of delight. Like, you actually have a duty to delight in life. And you have to be disciplined about that duty. You actually have to do stuff. You actually have to make a practice of finding those moments of joy, because that is what will get you through. That's exactly what it's talking about here. And they don't always have to be, folks, like big, grand things. I think a lot of the time, joy is found in rather little small things. As many because I like to chit chat about it. Days off, fun time to go out, do auctions, just go out, see different things, and do something totally different than my normal workaday life. And I love what I do, and it's really nice to do something a little different. And yesterday, I went to an auction, and I found this little thing, and this is like silly, right? Silly. It's silly. It's part of the Cornwall Cottage collection, and I looked at the bottom, 1987. It's just a tiny little house. Super cute. I love this kind of little thing. I don't even know why. Maybe it's because I like to build models when I was a little kid. And I love the idea of home. I love the idea of homecoming. Always really goes right to my heart. But I love this little thing. This was pretty cool. So, got a box with some of those in it for the whopping total of $1. And do I need those little houses? No. Will they eventually end up going to the local thrift shop? Yes. But you know what? For $1, it was worthwhile for just to have that dollar, just to have that little moment of joy that little spark, that little practice of the duty of delight. And I think weirdly, this is the kind of stuff we're to pack in our lives as we start moving through storms. And we have to take the time. We have to take the time to do that. So folks, like what's that for you today? What's your duty of delight today? You may find yourself, again, on any given day, right? There's a bell curve, and there are some people who life could not be better. And at one end, going to the complete opposite. There's some who life could not be worse. And I'm certainly not telling anyone to approach this with a Pollyannish way. It's just to see, even if you're in moments that are really dark, can you just find a few little spots of light, a few little stars up there, just these little pieces of joy that will just help you to keep moving through journeys, some of which are incredibly hard. So that's my thought for today, friends. I hope that makes sense, and it's kind of a fun one to talk about, the duty of delight. And I'm sure we'll talk about. We have talked about it many times before, and we will talk about it many times in the future, because joy seems to be a really important part of God's creation. So with that, friends, what we're going to do now is we're going to do a little blessing, a little prayer, a little meditation, a little prayer, a little blessing, and then we'll say hi to folks on social media. So with that, friends, let's get a little breath. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I. Be still and know that. Be still and know. Be still and. Be still. Be. Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so upon the earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you, bring you peace, and bring you home. Amen. All right, dear friends. And I need to say, boy, is it nice having technology cooperating again. I mean, it's funny in this life, we so desperately need to have it and to have it to work. So let's take a look here and see what folks have to say. Linda, good morning to you, and I hope you're doing well, my friend. Samuel, great to see you joining us the whole way from Africa, from Togo. Great to have you here. Patricia, good morning to you, and I hope you're doing well. Sherry writes, the duty of delight. I love that. Have a joyful day. Yeah, in her autobiography, Sherry's well worth reading. She's got some great points in it. Carolyn, out there in the Midwest, great to have you joining us this morning. Good morning to you. Mary wrote, joy left me incident by tragic incident that life dished up. Now I've learned to invite it along all the time. And some people just sprinkle it on everything. Love those people. They really, man, that's a great line. There are some definite sprinklers out there. Some folks who are great at sprinkling that stuff around the, great. It's a great observation. I'm in my mind, Mary, I'm turning that into a sermon. That's a really good one. Marcus writes, good morning, and good morning to you, buddy. I hope you're doing well. Linda writes, technology is great when it works. Have a great day, everyone. It sure is. And in this day and age, Linda, it's funny because we're so reliant on it, and it's good and bad. Yesterday we almost hit 300. A couple weeks ago was the first time we hit 200 in a day for these 10 minutes of morning common. We almost hit 300 yesterday, which is great. And it also means if it hadn't gone out, none of that would have happened. Melissa writes, such a beautiful statement. Duty of delight. Nice reminder, especially for when things seem dark. Find the joy. Totally agree with that, Melissa. So, folks, you welcome. I just want to say, you're always welcome to reach out and have further these conversations around things like joy. It's wonderful to have you here today. Wonderful to have you joining us, no matter what day it is or what continent you are on or any of that. Like most folks do join us archived, and great to have you all here. And again, we welcome any kind of connection we can make is always going to be good. So thank you for joining us, folks, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.